everybody, and welcome to another episode of Life Theories. We are coming at you with Jay from Journey of a White Feather down in Australia, Diana down in, you're in Washington now?
Virginia.
Virginia,
Yeah,
right,
it's close
right.
to DC. I mean, it's like close to there, yeah. But I'm farther out actually now, farther from the city now.
Well, Miss
Nice.
Diana is further from the city in Virginia,
More
and
in the mountains now. We're in the mountains now. We're
we be
trailblazing in the mountains.
trailblazing in the mountains. I
Yeah,
love that. You and your little trailblazing folks. I just love it.
yeah.
So we got Journey of a White Feather down in Australia, and Trailblazing down in Virginia, Trailblazers of the Universe. And my name is Sarah from Big Soul Healing. And today we are going to have a little chat with you about angel numbers.
All right, so angelic numbers. I've had a few conversations with a few people about it. So just when I talked about it, they go, "Why are you seeing these numbers?" There's a various amount of reasons numbers come up. There could be spirit guide, and this is only my understanding of it. Spirit guide talking to you, could be giving you a message. You're connecting, could be you're sort of coming into your awareness and connecting spiritually. So you see these numbers and they're giving you an idea of what's happening. Giving you an idea of what's happening. And that's how I've understood it anyway. So I've always understood it as a message from above, and what type of message it is, it resonates with you. But I know there's a lot more meanings, and Sarah's going to tell us a little bit more about it.
Yeah, like I've just pulled up there's a couple of different things that you can Google to see what the meanings of each number are between 0 and 1. And when these numbers repeat and you catch them repetitively, like say you're driving and you're stuck behind a truck with 111 on the license plate, or you look at the clock and it's 2:22. There's always gonna be a way that these numbers like come into your field, whether you see them repeating based on your clock or just like on a receipt. If these numbers are trying to find you, they're going to do whatever they can to get the message across to you. And like Jay said, oftentimes they're given from a spirit guide or from some sort of angelic messenger that is trying to help give you a message and let you know you're on the right path.
Mm.
The one that I pulled up here, if you guys want to know some of the meanings of these numbers, this is a good one that I like to follow. And 111 is an intuition calling. It means to, when you see these numbers, it's a really good time to lean in and trust your gut and listen to your heart. When you see 222, you're in full alignment. You're in the right place at the right time, and just trust that and be comfortable with that. 222 can also be a joining or like a coupling. You might be coming into contact with other members of your spirit family, your soul tribe. It could also be a coming together of like a romantic partnership or like a business partnership. 333 is a support. It just means mostly that your spiritual guides are around you and sending you love and guidance for whatever you're going through. 444 is generally protection. The universe and the spirit guides are protecting you. 444 can also be very distinguishable of big changes happening in your life, and like a big shift happening. 555 means something new is coming, be prepared. Fives can also potentially be like a warning message, like just pay extra attention to your surroundings and have extra awareness, and just be extra aware of what's going on around you. And when
So with that one there, Sarah, the 555 being aware, that
Mhm.
doesn't just mean like the first thing you say, be aware is that when people are going to think negatively. It's not that. It's just being aware of what something might come up to
Yeah.
give you an important message as well. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out because every time you say, "Oh, be aware," they go, "Oh my God, what's going to happen?" You know, they get
Yeah.
scared. You know.
Yeah, just pay extra attention to your surroundings because there's going to be messages for you that will help you through these changes. So just yeah, open up your awareness and your peripheral vision. Stop being so like with your head in the dirt kind of thing. Like take your head out of the dirt and kind of like look around, see what's going on.
Yeah.
See, gauge your surroundings really so that you can see what changes are trying to unfold around you. 666, a lot of people think that's the devil number. Actually, it's not. It's representative of a time to reflect. So when you're seeing 666, take some time to yourself. Go inward, reflect. It's time to wake up to your higher spiritual truth when you see 666. So really start to look inward and see maybe like, where you're holding yourself back when you see 666. It's time to start doing some self work and open yourself up to spirituality from a vantage point of like self work. 777 is the ultimate angel number. It is luck, finances, abundance, wonderful things about to happen. 888 is a ultimate balance. Everything is falling into alignment where it is meant to be. You can be comfortable and at peace when you see 888, knowing that everything is 100% the way that it should be, and you will come into prosperity and abundance if you stay in this feeling. The 999, it is time to release and let go what is no longer serving you. So if any of this resonates with you guys watching today, if you guys are seeing these numbers and you're wondering what does this mean for your life, just go ahead and like really sit with the information that I've given and see what resonates for you, see what's going on in your world. I also recently had a client session where we talked about angel numbers, and it was a really interesting eye-opening session for me as the practitioner because she came to me very much saying, I want to know what these numbers mean for me personally, and not just Googling it, not just seeing what the internet list says of these meanings. Like, what does this mean for me? What changes am I going to be going through? What's going on here? So when we really got into the session, and I'm not going to go too far into her personal details here, but what happened in this session was she was seeing 333 and 444. And for her, like the support system, this was trying to say, your spirit guides are here. But the really cool thing about her 333 was, and the 444 was, yes, she's going through a massive life shift and she's preparing to step into this shift. And the 333 was not only her support of like her angels and her guides being with her, she was literally getting a nudge from a spirit guide that she'd never interacted with before, who, as it turns out, we don't really speak the language of this spirit guide, but we had numbers in common and we could communicate through numbers. I was communicating with this guide through telepathy.
How did you know, Sarah? So how did you know there was a new spirit guide? Because people are going to ask, you didn't say it. So how did you know?
From deep session work, like we were in deep session, and I had opened up all of the channels that I open up to communicate with source. And we were doing a spirit guide session because she wanted to know, she wanted to meet her spirit guides, and she wanted to know what these angel numbers are about. And the really cool thing about her approach to asking for the session was, I don't want to just Google this. I want to know what it means for me, and I want to meet my spirit guides. Well, little did she know 333 was one of her spirit guides who literally goes by 33. And she wanted to let her know, hey, girl, you're going through some really big changes, and I'm going to be the guide that's going to help you through that.
Oh, cool.
And,
That's cool.
So
it doesn't always mean what it means for everybody. Like, it's not always a generic. Like, it could be very specific for you. I mean, so if you just go on Google, you might just get a generic. I think it's finding what it means to you. Yeah.
I always
the really cool thing about 333 is it actually does mean that you're coming into support and guidance, and you are being guided. But it was just kind of a really fun coincidence that she's like, no, like my ranking and our number on this dimension that we're from is 33, and you'll never be able to pronounce my name. But if you want to, with your English speaking tongue, but if you want to communicate with me, if she wants to communicate with me, tell her to call in 33 and I'll be there. So it was really interesting that it was like the 3-3 that she was seeing, because she was seeing 3-3 and 4, like 33-44, 33-44, or 3-3-3-4-4-4. She's like, what does this mean? This seems really specific. So this little being 33 is going to be with her, guiding her
Mm.
through the changes that were being shown to her through the 444 that she was seeing. So I thought it was really cool. And what this little guide taught me was that these angel numbers, it is good to kind of follow the guidelines because they are fairly accurate. You will notice when you Google it, like some of them will say slightly differing things
Yeah,
per
yeah,
number, but find the guide that resonates with you. As you read through them, feel what feels right for you and save the list that of the angel numbers that really resonates with you, with the meanings, and just go by that. And what this little being 33 told me was these angel numbers, they do have specific meanings for different people. So for this one client, 33 and 333 is very much letting her know that this being in this
yeah.
guide is with her and stepping in. And on the times in her life when she sees 333, that's what it means for her, is that
Okay.
this little being is with her. So yeah, look at the Google thing and feel what resonates with you, but it's not always that. And that's what 33 taught me was, yeah, okay, she is being supported, but it's me, it's about me. The 33 isn't about the support, it's about I'm coming in to step in, I'm here now, and I'm going to help guide you. So she's like, but not everybody. She's like, it's just a coincidence that my ranking is 33 and this also means support. She's like,
Yeah.
I could have been 66 but still shown up as 33. And like, yeah, it was a little bit like complicated, but what she wanted me to know was these Google things that say this are fairly accurate, but every single person will have a
Slightly different. Yeah.
another meaning attached to it. And there will be little bits. So if you can sit with yourself in meditation, if you are a little bit more of an advanced meditator, you can sort of sit with this and really just ask your higher self, and like what these numbers mean for you. And
And
generally,
even
you will get an answer if you're able to connect. And if you're not, find a spiritual worker that connects with that can connect to spirit guides. I'm definitely willing to like offer people these types of sessions if they're interested. Please feel free to reach out. But yeah, there's different ways and different practitioners that you can call upon to tap into these things to see how these numbers actually align for you and what they mean for you personally. So either
the
tap into by yourself, feel what resonates when you're Googling it, or find a practitioner that's skilled in these things to help guide you through.
I go to the next level with that and ask about tell people to journal themselves because that's my
Yeah.
uh, strength, I guess. In that way, we're journaling. I go through the poetry. I write poetry, obviously, as you know, but it's still expressing where you're at in your life. So these numbers are actually showing you. Number one for me is to open up your awareness of the spiritual realm and where you are spiritually, where you're grounded. So all the information that Sarah's given you, you can be open to it more because people are just freaking out with the numbers and they go, why are these numbers coming up? So I always say to people, go, look, you've been connected, you're being connected spiritually. That's number one. You're connected to the universe, and they're trying to, and you're opening up yourself, your crown chakra, your heart chakra, all the chakras could be opening up to this information. You don't know what's going to come of it, but at least you know that you're aware of it now. So you're sort of stepping into that realm. So that's a good starting point, and then you can start writing down. Look at you, and then I'd say, look, it starts to assess your life, where it is, what's bothering you, all those kind of things. So even not going that deep into what we're doing, but even just simply starting off like that would be a good way to look at things.
Well, like what you were saying too, with the journaling, there is a practice that you can do. There's a 15-minute binaural beat meditation music on YouTube that's accessing your higher self. If you
Okay.
put that on and you take a nice couple of centering deep breaths and you just really attune to yourself and call in your higher self while you're listening to the beats, then you can do a channeled writing practice, which is similar to what you were saying. But close your eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, put the pen in your hand with the journal in front of you, and ask your higher self to write through you, to you, and for you any messages that you need to
Interesting.
hear.
I'll do that.
And you can specifically ask, what does I keep seeing 111 repetitively? What does this mean for me? And just allow your pen to start writing and just do a channeled writing practice by calling in your higher self to write through you and to you any information that you seek. And you'll actually be surprised how well this works and how much information your higher self will just spill through your pen. When you're done, you can read it and find out exactly what that means for you. And if you're
And the
having
other
trouble
thing,
getting the channeled writing flowing, just write down, like, I'm having trouble writing. I'm trying to connect to my higher self. I'm asking my higher self to connect, and just write things along that nature until it starts to really flow. And if it helps, put the channeled writing music back on, the higher self mantra music back on, and just keep doing it until you feel connected. Sometimes it takes practice, but over time, you'll find that this is a really good way to connect to your higher self and have the messages right there in front of you so you can look back at it a later date.
yeah, I reckon that's a good idea. I just because as I said, journaling is big for me. So looking at that, and then also depending where you're at, this is a little bit more advanced, ladies and gentlemen, because going through what we went through, twin flame, and all those other experiences that I went through. Now I've actually killed the ego, or I've got it under control, and understanding that when it takes over me. So when I do something like that, which is a bit advanced, um, I'm actually writing from the heart, because everyone says write from the heart, write from the heart. It's a little bit not as easy as what you keep thinking, because you've still got the ego that works within yourself if you haven't controlled it. So um, all I'll say to you is, when you get these messages, guys, just guys and girls, just write it down and don't analyze it as too much. Just go within and go within yourself and trust in what's happening. If you don't understand it, it might be something that might come up for you for the future. A lot of the stuff that they come up, it might resonate straight away, maybe, but I know for a fact it will resonate down the track. And you get those feelings. You start to connect spiritually to it. Where the three of us are more connected to the universe, because we've done the work for the last umpteen years. What do you think, Di? You're taking all this in.
I have certain ones I see a lot. I mean, I think for me, 1111 is probably the one I see the most, and especially when I'm with Shane and stuff, we see it a lot. We saw it today. We keep seeing it everywhere, and but
It
even
was just one a minute ago while I was talking.
yeah, I think that's the one I probably see the most. But yeah, I see some of the other ones too, and I think it's just paying attention to kind of what's going on at the moment, because sometimes it could be like, sometimes it'll be something I'm going back and forth with in my head, and then it's like, oh, it's like it comes in, it's just kind of like the initial answer that comes first. Because if you could try to overanalyze it a million different ways, we have how many different thoughts a day, how many different things going on, and you could be like, oh, who's it from? What's the meaning? But I think it just kind of, what's your instinct on that? Sometimes you just know. Have you ever had that come? The numbers just come, and you just like, you know what it's about. Like, oh, cool, I'm in alignment. It's not even sometimes it's not even a huge meaning. It's just like, oh, I'm in alignment. Oh, what I was thinking, this idea I had, or his vision, or maybe I wasn't sure about something. Maybe it's just a little bit of a like, oh, on the right path. For me, it's like a little nudge. I don't try to like overanalyze it. I mean, also when you work in a matrix job like I do, sometimes you're looking at the clock all day anyway. You're on the computer, or if you're on the computer a lot anyway, you're on your phone. You're gonna see the repeating numbers a lot anyway. So. But there's times when it stands out more than others, I think. Just because the clock says that, you're looking at how many times you're looking at your phone, you're looking at your computer. So, like, I just, I think when the difference when it's, like, something, you get, like, some kind of intuitive nudge or something.
For me, straight away I say, when I see the numbers, I know the universe is looking out for us. And then a lot of people who are opening up and being awakened by these numbers. So you have a look. So the people that I've been talking to, you wouldn't even think about. They go, what's happening in the spiritual world? I wouldn't have heard it from them. You know what I mean? And then that means that these numbers are giving a sign, to helping people awaken their consciousness. And they've got a lot of work to do. But at the end of the day, it's great that it's great that they're actually being aware of it. So everyone's starting to wake up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's really good that, like people are starting to ask more questions. People are starting to, pay attention and be aware of like all the other things that are sort of opening up, which is really good because there's a lot of, like what Jay was saying, there's a lot of crap going on in the world. And it's really easy to get distracted by that. And it's really easy to fall into the victimhood of that and like getting stuck in that victim mentality instead of being a free sovereign being that is willing to go out there and educate themselves and get the information without being worried they're going to be told they're freaking wrong by someone who's just trying to control the narrative.
Well, have a look. It's all ego, Sarah. Have a look at it. We make it. That's a perfect example of being controlled by the ego and what we've been programmed in this world to learn. Because obviously we're at the at some point at some stages we are under the scrutiny of the elite. Okay, and we're on the. But again, what you said, we've got a choice of how we look at it. I mean, we've been given all these beautiful things that we should be able to enjoy, but at the end of the day, they're just trying to keep us under the thumb. Oh, you can have these nice things if you know what I mean? Whereas
but like it's up to us to make the right choices, right? Like you can either listen to them and do what they say, or you can make a choice that's best for yourself. And the more people that stand up for their rights and their bodies and their lives and make a choice that's beneficial for themselves and not just doing something because they've been told that that's what's good for you, the more, we're going to start taking our sovereign control back. And the more these powers that be are going to have less of a standing. Because really, ultimately, they're supposed to be working for us, but instead they've taken ultimate control and it's gone all backwards. And it's time we start taking that sovereignty back and start to really do something about it as people. We don't need to be controlled by this situation anymore.
I think that the best way you win is to not live in fear. Is to be able to enjoy yourself and not let it bog you down. Look, everything's expensive for me. There's a lot of things I can be mad about, but it's what are you going to focus on? Because then you're going to go on the world and that's what you're focused on. That's what you're going to attract. That's where your attention, what energy flows, where attention goes, right? So then they win. That's what they want. They want to keep us in fear. They want to keep us like in a lower state. So what I'm learning to do, I'm learning to have more. I'm actually learning to consume a little bit less, which is actually good. I'm realizing a lot of things we're so taught to consume. When I'm realizing living on my own, I mean, I've always been a little bit of a spender. I have, and I went through my addiction stuff as well. But I'm learning I'm very programmed to consume. When I have an emotional thing, I consume something like emotional, and for me, I don't have not substances anymore. So it's like I'll go more to shopping. Oh, I got this new thing. I got this new thing from Amazon. I got this new thing. But a lot of these things we don't need now. It's nothing wrong with buying stuff. And when you see your account is lower. It isn't that I usually have stuff to buy what I need. It's all the extra things, the extra money I want to do. So I'm actually learning. It's actually taught me to kind of I can actually have fun. Like we do more stuff in nature. We do stuff that you don't need to consume. We do more simple things sometimes. Yeah, I still have fun and go out and spend money sometimes, but I'm learning that I don't always need to consume. And even the amount of food I'm buying sometimes is and when I go grocery shopping, I'm like, is that really needed? And I'm actually learning what I think we said before, back to the basics, right? And living in fear is how they win. And they don't want you in the hard space. They want you divided. They want you division. Part of the division, the 3D, the fight, all that shit, all the separation is oh, they're at the top. They have why are we calling them that's giving them way too much power? And they're just sitting there yeah.
Well, I'm only calling the elite because I know exactly which kind of word I want to use, and if I use that word,
gotcha. Yeah.
I'm go. And then, I like the word elite because I think we're elite too. So there you go. So
Ralph Smart
but
calls them the inorganic ones. I think that's a good one. That's how he gets past the algorithm. He has 2 million. He talks about it all the time on his YouTube channel, Infinite Waters. He says the inorganic ones.
That's actually really good.
Yeah.
But you're right.
That's so much better.
Yeah, we could call them the inorganic one. Yeah, because everything is inorganic. It's all artificial. It's all, yeah.
But you're right about consuming and stuff. Like, as I said, there's nothing wrong with going out, but you look at your mind of why you're doing it. Well, why are you buying certain things? Like, mate, and then they look at me. I've got so much stuff, but being a collector and all those kind of things. But everything in my house is relevant to what I am over 20 years. It's part of me. But you buy, it's like, why are you watching certain things? Like when I went through my first spiritual wagon, and I love obviously I love heavy metal. Look at the back. But I was watching, Motley Crue, The Dirt. But why was I watching it? But I was where my head was at. Now I can watch it and look at it in a different way. It's like watching movies and stuff. We go back into looking at movies, why you watch it, but why are you consuming? You know what I mean? I'm the same. I don't consume. I put into something I love, put into my bands, put into my my books and all that. So I'm actually investing in myself instead of just buying stuff and going, look at me, look at this is great. I'm even when I love to buy certain things, and I still will. Don't get me wrong, for my enjoyment, but it's not going to be a case of blowing money or whatever just for the sake of my ego, where it's from my heart more than anything. There's a way. That's a way to look at it.
Yeah, it's similar to like what you're saying. Like, what are you consuming? Like, what are you allowing into your space?
What
right?
you consume consumes you. I made a TikTok on that. Yeah.
And recently, one of my guides. I've been watching this show on Netflix for the last little bit. It's really interesting to me. It's like that one Manifest where they the plane disappears for 5 years and comes back. It's freaking crazy show. I'm kind of obsessed with it. I've got like one episode.
I watched a couple seasons of that. Yeah.
I'm just I'm so into it right now, and so is my roommate. And so Willer and I are just watching the show, and I've been falling off my schedule recently, because I'm watching this show, right? And I'm really into it. I'm like, yeah, this is great. It's kind of there's spiritual stuff in there, and it's kind of about callings and all kinds of stuff. And I'm just yeah, this is this show resonates with me. But I'm realizing it's I'm staying up till 2:30 in the morning just watching the show, right? And then I woke up not yesterday, but the day before and the day before that, and my guide was with me, and it was one of my it was Chris. You guys know who I'm talking about when I say that. And so Chris showed up, and he's going real good. He's going real good. So he was judging me. He was doing that Christian judgy thing, and he's standing right next to my bed when I woke up, and he's like, "What are you letting in? What are you consuming, and what are you letting in?"
Yeah.
And I had to think about it for a minute, and it was because I'd woken up and it was 10:30. I was way past when I usually should wake up, and I'm letting in whatever information is in the background of that show. First of all,
right to your subconscious, man.
Right into my subconscious. Not only that, but what I also learned is while you're watching television, after about, I think it's 5 to 7 minutes of TV, you're automatically in a theta state, and the television puts you in a theta state, and it's a level of consciousness that makes it really, really easy for other energies to come in and take a spot in your energy center. So
cough the news.
When you're in theta, it's similar to when you're astral projecting. A part of you is no longer occupying the space. So in that regard, other entities, other energies can come into your field and take up room there. So I was told when you're binge watching the way I've been binge watching, not only are you opening your subconscious to whatever that programming has to offer in the background, but you're also opening up your energy field to whatever negative energies and entities are floating around your vicinity that are looking for a place to land.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Can I throw something at you then?
So, Chris,
That's that. Keep
just
going.
yeah, just to finish off, I'm almost done. So Chris was basically saying, be careful about what you're consuming and what you're letting in and how long you're consuming. It's fine to watch an episode, but if you sit there and watch 6 or 7, how much of your space are you giving away just so you can be entertained by a TV show that really, in the grand scheme of things, has no value to your life,
TV
really?
programming, man. It's literally called programming. Television tells lies to your vision, man. Come on. It's all right there, man.
Yeah, I know, right?
So
So
like
I
ridiculous.
got schooled by Chris, and he was saying, be careful what you consume, be careful what you let in, because not only are you, when you're in that state, opening up to that, you're opening up to a whole slew of other energies. And right now, especially with, the CMEs going off and the like Schumann resonance, like the energies on this planet are really open, they're really volatile. Things that you might not want to be associated with can really easily just glob onto you and be like, yo, I'm part of this now. I'm just here. And now you got to deal with it or get rid of me. Sometimes you don't even know it's there. So you have to be really, really careful and consuming in this way, whether you're consuming from a autopilot type state to try to calm an emotional response, or you're consuming just sitting in front of the TV, you're opening yourself up to these energies. So you have to be
Yeah.
really careful what you're letting in via your consumption. So
Right.
because
So
when
I'll
you're consuming a lot more than what you see and feel, and you have to be really careful.
I'll go one step with that one. So you're exactly right about what you consume. Now I watch Titans because I think because obviously I play night with Melbourne Nightwing. I look at it as especially where my mind's at. I enjoy the show, but I'm also studying the character. So there's something you can look at, guys. I mean, we're at a different level, of course, but there's certain things like I watch this rubbish show. Everyone goes too hot to handle, right? You go, that's an absolute rubbish show. It's one of those, Love
Rubbish.
Island one. But go and watch it, mate. It's the most great. It's the best show you can watch to actually see how people can change if they allow them to change. So go and tell your mate from me that thanks for the heads up, and take away where you can be attracted to a show or attracted to a song or whatever. They'll give you a message. As I said, too hot to handle, mate. I'll tell people to go and watch that. Like if I ever, when I'm going to the life mentoring or whatever the hell I'm doing, going to guide people through their life, through my journey, I'll tell them to watch that show, because you take everyday people who are living in the ego or thinking with certain parts of their anatomy, and the way they've changed over a period of time, you can see it. Whether it's, everyone goes, oh, it could be an act. I go, yeah, well, okay, so be it. If you think it's an act, it's your business. Good. I look at it because I'm actually thinking deeper, because you're thinking with your bloody ego. I'm thinking, look, people can change, and put them into a situation where you take out a certain addiction, which is basically, having a roll in the hay. Let's put it that way. Yeah, roll in the hay, as they call it in Australia. And then they look at it, what we're doing. We look at the deep, you're deep within yourself. You go within yourself. You go deeper. You want to make proper connections, and it's what the world's all about. And it's like, as I've watched all 4 seasons, I think that's a fantastic show. If you actually at that level, and you can see the deep meaning of what's happening, and it's a great thing. So you're right about just binge watching stuff. I don't know, watching Friends and all those kind of things, but when you're actually watching, like I watch Titans to study Nightwing, because I think I totally believe all the characters I portray is basically it's an outer look at me. I'm that character. I'm going, oh, you're right, yeah, okay, yeah, now I get it, right, yeah. But yeah, so that's another angle of it anyway. But again, it's where you're at spiritually too. It's like the numbers are the same thing. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, we will call it a morning or a night or an afternoon. I hope everyone enjoyed our session on life theories. Now, we will be having special guests on very, very soon. We're getting that organised as we speak. If you want to be a special guest on life theories, and I will say on Jackie Lyons and my podcast on the 1111 Spiritual Transit podcast, we can get you on there. So there's an actual form there we can fill in now.
Yeah.
And we'll get that out to our listeners, and you can fill in. We've got about 20 people who want to come on and have a chat about life. So so it's going to be fantastic. So from Trailblazers of the Universe up in the sky, Starfire over there.
You see right
in
here? Got that. I had to have that background.
Yeah, amazing. Gotta go, dude. Jeez. So over in Virginia, you got Diana. So make sure you see her. She's all over social media. You won't miss her. We've got Big Soul Healing. I got that right too. I must be.
Wow.
Must be.
How long that took? It took you a few months now to get that one?
Oh, it took a while to figure out the first one, and then I changed it on him because I'm drinking it.
Progress.
It's amazing. It's amazing when you become, when you don the superhero outfit and you get all confident and you take it off again. It's one of my life goals. Anyway, we've got Sarah over there. She's a witch, and good one at that. And if you think witches are bad, well, you're totally wrong. There you go. I'm just trying to be diplomatic here. But no, she does some wonderful healing work, meditations, looking in the inner child work, and an all-round healer, and obviously helping you with progression in the spiritual world and yourself and connecting to the universe. You can check her out on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube and everywhere else on the world. Myself, you've got Journey of a White Feather and Words of the Warrior on TikTok. I just love talking about memes and whatnot. I'm doing a lot of life mentoring and helping people through their spiritual awakenings, twin flame awakenings. Got my book coming out very soon, and also with me other podcasts with Jackie Lyons, the Akashic Record Reading. Friend of mine, we have a 1111 Spiritual Transit podcast just talking about the impact on spiritual awakening and spiritual awakenings and how they impact life and how they've impacted our lives. So thank you very much from the Life Theories crew. We'll see you next week. Been an awesome show, and always look after yourself and look after your family, and make sure you love yourself and be the best person you can. And don't worry about the elites or the inorganic people, because we're better than them, and we will be better than them because Mother Nature has our back. Take care from the three of us. See you soon. Stay safe, stay healthy. We love you all. Thanks very much.
Bye.
Bye.